All right, welcome to our video here. Thanks for attending and thanks for taking a little bit of time to go through this short tutorial where I'm going to take you through some of the more important aspects of setting up your EBA portfolio. Keep in mind that your EBA portfolio is a graduation requirement in the Entrepreneurship and Business Academy. When you become a senior and you are in your senior internship course, it is going to be expected that you have an EBA digital portfolio that shows artifacts from every single EBA course that you've been in throughout your career at Kempsville High School. So a couple of things before I get into showing you the platform and showing you some of the necessities. As we have discussed in our masterclass, you do have a number of different platforms that you can choose to use to create your EBA portfolio. But here's a couple of things, real short bullet points that you want to keep in mind. The platform I'm going to be showing you in this tutorial, Weebly, it is a very user-friendly platform. It's very intuitive. It's a drag and drop type of tool, and the platform works on sections. You have other platforms that students commonly use as well. They'll also use Wix, and they'll also use Google Sites. But here's two things to consider about both of those platforms. Students that choose Wix as a platform, you need to understand it's one of the most robust free website building tools that you could possibly get your hands on. And what does that mean? There are a lot of tools in it. You can make a professional grade website using Wix, but along with that comes a pretty steep learning curve. At first, the controls and the tools, they are not intuitive. It's going to take a little bit of work on your part to be able to get a level of comfort with moving things around. Where is this? Where is that? How do I do this? It's not straightforward. But if you are tech savvy and you know that you are going to take the time to play around with the tools and have a little trial and error, then fine, right? Choose Wix. You can make a phenomenal website with it. The other platform that you can sometimes choose is a Google site. A Google site is the most basic website platform that you could possibly create. There are no, shall I say, embellishments with a Google site. It is very plain Jane and very straightforward. I like to teach you to use a platform kind of in the middle of the road, a platform like Weebly that is going to give you some tools, but yet it's not going to be super difficult to get the hang of. So without any further ado, let's go to Weebly.com, and what we are going to be looking at is a screen that looks like this at first, where as of November 11th, 2024, this is their login screen. Things change with these online platforms all the time. The first time that you come to this website, look up here to the top right where it says sign up. You're going to need to create yourself an account first. And before you take any other step, listen to this instruction. Do not tie your account to a school email address. I can't tell you how important this is. You must tie this account to your personal email. If you don't have a personal email address, you need to go create one. Go create a free Gmail account. Go create a free Yahoo account so that you have your own personal email to be able to do different things with, but you must not tie it to a school email address. If our Department of Technology chooses that later they do not support some of the small things about the Weebly web service, then you could very well be out of an entire EBA portfolio if yours is tied to your student email address, right? So I can't tell you how important that is. So at this point, go ahead and click sign up right up here in the top right. If you need to pause this video until you get your account created and all of your personal information put in, do so. There's also going to be one section in the sign up where it asks for your cell phone number. I highly encourage you to put your cell phone number in. They are not going to send you spam. That is an account recovery tool, right? If you get locked out of your account somehow, you can't get back into it, you can have a a recovery code sent to your phone, and you can, within seconds, be back into your account. If you don't do that step, you could very well, if you totally get locked out for some reason, you could be looking at having to start completely over with your EBA portfolio, and that would be a shame when it's as simple as that. So at this point, pause this video, go set up your account, and then I will join you at the next step. All right, so here's my dashboard once I get logged into my Weebly account, and I've already got an EBA portfolio, a mock portfolio set up that we're going to look at. So now would be as good of time as any to look at that website. Here's what it looks like that we're going to be creating. We're going to be creating a student portfolio account that has a couple of things that are true with it. When you land on your homepage, there needs to be some type of characterization that speaks to your personality, what you're into, something that makes it personal to you. Me, myself, if you don't know me, I'm a golfer. It's a big part of who I am and my past and what I want to do in the future. So I've got a picture right front and center of me playing golf, right? It kind of gives the impression to somebody who comes to this for the first time that this is something that's important to this person. Maybe he's passionate about that, and you can't have a second chance at making a first impression. So you have to think in terms of your viewer that's coming to your website. What feelings do you want them to feel about you right away? What do you want them to think of in terms of your organization, your ability to write, things like this? These are all little elements of making a good EBA portfolio. And along those lines, as you scroll down, you see that I'm welcoming a viewer to my portfolio. It says, welcome to my EBA portfolio. Here you'll find evidence of my motivation, growth, and skills that I've developed during my time in the Entrepreneurship and Business Academy at Kempsville High School. So it's a welcoming page. It makes somebody think to themselves, wow, they've really gone to the extra links to set it up so that I know exactly what type of website it is that I've landed on. Now, throughout this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to do a couple of things. We are going to set up your navigation across the top of your web page. We are going to make drop-down links so that every single EBA course that you are in will have its own particular page. Since I teach ninth graders, this is a great example of the courses that a ninth grade student might have when somebody first visits their page. You go to ninth grade, they're definitely going to be taking Intro to EBA. They're definitely going to be taking EBA Honors English 9. And then, for example, a social studies that a student may or may not have, an example might be World Studies for Business 1. Someone else may be an EBA Culinary. Somebody else may be an EBA Idea Generation. Whatever your schedule is, if you have EBA courses, they need to find their way into this portfolio and have their own page, because your teachers, your instructor, they are going at some point during that course, they're going to tell you, this is an assignment. I want you to put an artifact from our course into your EBA portfolio to be able to show what you've learned, to be able to show how much you've grown during the process, right? So this is the shell of mine. I'm going to minimize this, and we're going to go create one for you. Now, for me, since I do already have a website created, mine's going to look a little bit different from yours. I can go in and re-edit that site. But what you can do, we're going to come in on mine right here. I'm going to add a site. It's going to create a new website for me. And I have a couple of different options. I just need a website, or I need a website with an online store. Well, we aren't selling anything, and we don't plan to with our EBA portfolio. So click over here. I just need a website. Now, you have a lot of different themes that you can choose between. It's going to load them up. They're kind of graphic intensive, so it takes a second here. But look at all of these different looks that you can apply to your website, and it gets you, say, 80 to 90% of the way there with your layout and your theme. You don't want to start from a blank canvas. Why do that? That's going to create a lot of additional work that you've got to do, and that's not necessarily what we're trying to get out of this portfolio creation, is it? We are trying to get our artifacts into it so that we can organize them and display them for somebody who may be coming to our portfolio to, if we've applied for a scholarship, maybe they want to see some body of evidence. So by using a theme that's already created, and it can be any of these. Let's use one, for example, right here's one for a barber shop. I don't know if you like the look of this, if you like the way that the different things look on the different pages, you can go through as many of these themes as you want until you find one that you like. But once you find one that you like, click over here in the top right that says Start Editing. Go ahead and click it. It's going to take just a second and load it into an editing software so that we can do that online. I'm going to pause my video right here and wait for it to come online in front of me. Through my experience, there's a couple of places where students mess up when they're setting their Weebly page up for the first time. Keep in mind, Weebly is both a free tool, there is a free version of it, and there is a paid version of it if you wanted an actual polished website with no Weebly branding on it and you wanted to use it for business purposes. We are using a free version. You don't have to pay for anything with what we're doing. So right here where it says select your domain name, I would like you to type in your name and EBA Portfolio. That's going to be the www. Like for instance, mine is www.justinmorrisebaportfolio.weebly.com. That's the free version, right? All you have to put in right here is your name, and let's just use John Smith EBA Portfolio. That's all I'm typing in, and I want to search and just see if it is available. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. And down here at the bottom, here is the free version. Everybody locate this where it says subdomain, free with Weebly branding on your website. Right there it is. It's available, and I'm going to claim it by clicking choose. There is not another John Smith EBA Portfolio that's out there. So I'm going to click it. It says, great, subdomain setup complete. Awesome, you have successfully set up your subdomain name. After you publish your website, it will be available at johnsmithebaportfolio.weebly.com. Okay, sweet. So up here in the top right, click done, because you've given your website a web address now, and we'll look at it again here in a little bit. So keep in mind, I'm just looking at this theme right now, right? It's a theme for a barber shop, for crying out loud. That's not how it's going to end up being when it's all said and done. Let's start to create some of the necessities with the navigation of this website first. Where I want you to go is to look up to the top line of your editor up here. You've got a couple of tabs, one that says build, that's where all of your page elements are. You've got another one for pages. You've got one for messing around with the theme or changing little things about the theme. Or if you get in here and you turns out you don't like this barbershop theme, you can go in there and completely change the theme to something else that they've got available. So with one click, you can totally change the look of it. Don't really mess with apps right now. There's nothing you need in your EBA portfolio with that. General settings, if you were to need to change some settings with your web page, would be in there. Over here, you are able to see desktop and mobile version. So if you want to change something about the way that it would appear on a mobile device, you could. But right now, all we're doing is using some basic stuff, right? So over here, close to the top left, I would like you to come at this time and click Pages. This Pages menu on the left side of your screen is going to mirror the tabs that you have in this layout. So right now, they've got a page for a home page. They've got one page for a services page, an about page, updates, and contact, right? They're all represented over here on the left side. Here's what I suggest you do first. Come in here to each one other than home. Do not do this to the home page, but let's click on it and let's delete all of the others. We're going to delete that page. We're going to come to the about page. We're going to delete that page. We're going to come down to an updates page. We're going to delete that page. And we're going to come to a contact page. And I tell you what, leave contact there for the moment. We might come around again to it here in a little bit. But now notice how we've only got 2 pages on this website. We've got a home page and a contact page. We're going to change that. The first requirement in your EBA portfolio is that you have a page for every single grade that you are in school. So for instance, if you are a freshman, you need to have 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th as navigation icons up there. This is a brand new feature, this one I'm about to show you, that came out at the beginning of November. So students who have set up portfolios in the past, they don't have this exact version. Down here where it says non-clickable menu, we are going to click that first, and let's call this 9th. And I'm going to click done. And the first one that it does, I want you to see what it does over here on your website. It immediately puts a tab for 9th grade. Okay, cool. All you need to know right now is we are going to do that same technique for 10th, 11th, and 12th. So as I am doing it, I'm putting in one for 10th now. I'm going to put another one in for 11th. And I'm going to do one more for 12th. And just like that, I've got some pages, so it would seem. Since these are non-clickable items on my website, if I clicked it, nothing would happen. But what we are now going to do is to add some additional pages into each year, which is for this version, for this tutorial, we're going to put them all under 9th grade, right? Come over to where it says pages and click plus again. This time we are going to create a standard page. This is the best, easiest way for you to start out. Click standard page, and whatever your EBA course is, we are going to call it that. So since I teach Intro to EBA, let's use that as an example. Intro to EBA, that's the page name. I'm going to click done. And as soon as I do it, I need you to notice one thing. If I leave it alone, that class is over here on the navigation bar by itself. I don't want it there on the same level as 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, and 12th grade, okay? I want to take it from over here, and I'm going to raise it up in the hierarchy and put it under 9th grade, and I'm also going to indent it just a little bit, all while I have the mouse button clicked and held in, and then I'm going to let go. And notice how it's indented just a little bit underneath 9th grade. As soon as I do that, notice what happens over here in your editor. The course Intro to EBA goes away from your navigation, right? And now it lives under 9th grade. So the viewer, the person navigating through your website, can now say, oh, I want to see what this guy did during 9th grade. Oh, Intro to EBA, okay, cool. We can go to that page and learn a little bit about that course. Let's do a couple more so that you can see how it's going to be super easy. Let's say you have EBA Honors English 9. There we go. Let's do it again. Done. It's going to first appear in your navigational bar, but I know that needs to live under 9th grade. There it is, EBA Honors English 9. If I want to publish this website at this point, come up here to this blue button in the top right and let's test it already and see what it looks like. I'm going to click publish. This is going to be the first time this website is published, so here it is. Website published, John Smith EBA Portfolio.weebly.com. Let's click on that link. It's going to take us to it. This is the first visit that we've made to our new website. And so far, everything that we've done is there. We've got a home page, we left the contact page, and now we've got 2 courses underneath our 9th grade year. That's exactly what we need to have happen. Now, if you're watching this, chances are you are a 10th grade student coming into the academy. Your EBA courses would be in and underneath the 10th grade tab. Do you understand? All you have to do is to drag them under the right page in your editor back here. Let's exit out of that and go to pages again. And we can reorganize anything under any year that we want, right? Something else that I'm just looking at this that I don't really love. I don't love having contact up there just past the home page. I almost want that at the end. So that's one little brief change I'm going to make. This starts to look a little bit more like how navigation for a normal website would work. Let's go back to the home page. I'm going to click on home and it should navigate me back to home. There's a couple other things I want you to do at this point on your home page, because the first thing that somebody needs to know when they land on a portfolio page is who it is that they've landed on and what is this website, right? So up here, there's a couple different ways we could do it. Up here, you have the ability to insert some kind of header that's either some text, or if you have your own personal logo, personal branding, you could put that up here. But let's just keep it simple, and let's call this John Smith's EBA Portfolio. And let's click out of it. This is what's so great about a Weebly website. Anywhere you see text boxes inside of your editor, you can just click into them and start to change the text. It's super user-friendly and intuitive. So we've already got a heading that tells the visitor, okay, we're on John Smith's EBA Portfolio. What could we put here? Entrepreneurship student. How about we put future and not student? Let's just put future entrepreneur. There we go. You can customize this to be anything you want, right? Down here where I'm putting some text, let's select all of it right there, and let's tell our visitor what in the world kind of website it is that they've landed on. Please tour my portfolio and view all of my coursework from my academy experience. Okay, cool. You also have a button here that right now is tied to nothing, but for right now, if you wanted it to link you to a different web page, or there's a lot of different things you could do with it. Each theme has different features that are built into it. This is an example of one of those extra features that if you want to play around with it and use it, as I did in mine, feel free, but this is not required of you in your EBA portfolio, right? If you find something that you don't want on there, you've got an X up in the top right, and we can just as easily delete that thing right away. So it's already starting to look like something. Now, this picture that's there, maybe I don't want that to be my background. I could make any kind of background I want. I could put my own image in there. I could put another image that Weebly has in its stock photos. I could find an image online that makes more sense about what I want to do, or whatever. You got a lot of freedom, but the biggest thing is to keep in mind that it needs to represent you in some way. If you look back at mine, I wasn't satisfied with just a stock image. I wanted it to speak to me and my personal story. This is where a little bit of legwork on your end, designing it, is going to come into play, and you can make a stellar portfolio page. So at this point, I want to show you what we're going to do next, because the final requirement that I have my introduction to EBA students abide by is to know a proper system for putting an artifact into a course. So let's go to 9th grade and let's go to their Intro to EBA course. It's going to start to navigate us to that page on my website. The first thing I'd like you to keep in mind on this is that we've got a heading for the course. It's going to be blank, or it's going to say click to edit when you first go into yours. You want to make sure that you use all of the text headers that are already there in the theme and the layout, so that you can give some nice organization to your pages. So I called this page Intro to EBA. I changed that text. It also had some weird picture back here. I didn't like it. I just wanted it simple, so I put a color back here instead of an image. You can do what you like when it comes to that. But then, this is something I like for each of my students to consider doing. Putting in a short description of the course itself. Because if somebody comes to your EBA portfolio and they don't know what they're looking at, they need to know, well, what is Intro to EBA, right? And check out this basic description that I've written. Intro to EBA is a required freshman elective that I'm required to take during my first year in the Entrepreneurship and Business Academy. The purpose of the course is to expose me to content in all 3 of the strand areas that the Academy provides, including entrepreneurship and innovation, business and information technology, corporate finance, At the end of this course, I'll be able to make an educated decision as to which strand I will pursue during my next 3 years at Kempsville High School. Cool. It's a basic description, right? You can creatively put a small little phrase or tidbit in there that describes the course the way that you would like it to be described. And then here is my first artifact. The formula that I want you to consider for how you put your artifacts in. You always want to have a heading. You always want to have some kind of imagery that supports the artifact itself. And then the artifact in most courses is often some kind of writing or some kind of additional element that goes with it. So in our Intro to EBA course, we do an early project called the Extraordinaire Design Challenge. This over here on the right is an image of my extraordinaire. He was a werewolf. And I designed it so that I have the image of him on the right, and then I have the text on the left and underneath him. You can do anything you want with how you organize your artifact on the page, but it needs to have those three elements, right? It needs to have a heading, it needs to have some kind of imagery, and it needs to have the artifact itself, which in this case, this text here represents the writing, okay? But it's also important to recognize, how do you then separate it from the next artifact that goes in? Weebly has easy elements of bringing in dividers, excuse me, dividers and spacers, so that then you could rinse and repeat after that spacer, and you could do the same thing again. Put another heading in, put another image in, put more text in, and yours is going to have an organized, logical approach all the way down and throughout your page. And that is a format that works for all of these courses. Like, all of your EBA instructors would love to see your artifacts organized in your portfolio in that manner. Not to mention your senior internship teacher, when you become a senior, they'll be able then to say, wow, this is really logical. It progresses nicely. It's separated from one another. It's easy on the eyes for the viewer. So let's go back and look at a couple more things inside of your editor and see if we can't create some of those things real quick. Let's go to what we created as the Intro to EBA page. And this is what I was talking about. It's a blank canvas, right? You've got a heading here that in this instance you would need to call it Intro to EBA, or whatever the name of your course is. Down here you have an area where you can drag elements to. So anytime you start to build a page, you want to come to the Build tab at the top left of your menu choices. Down on the left, you've got all kinds of different tools that you can use. Almost all of them are free, by the way. So the first thing that we want to do is, as I instructed you, let's grab the Text tool. We're going to drop it to the top of this element section here and let go. And now I have an area where I can edit some text. Here you would put some things about the nature of your course. What's this course about? Why are you taking it? What do you learn in this course? Because somebody who doesn't know what Intro to EBA is, they aren't going to know. They aren't going to have a clue. Then down below it, let's bring in a little bit of space. We can grab one icon that'll give me a little bit more space. Let's put in a divider. There's a divider like I was talking about just a second ago. And now let's start to put in our first artifact. I'm going to put a title. That's my header down at the bottom. See how it's just drag and drop? Let's call this, because I don't know what yours might be called, artifact number 1. You want to put a title there. You want to put some kind of heading there that'll tell the viewer, well, what is artifact number 1? This right here is just a placeholder for me in this tutorial. After that, let's put in some text. Let's grab the text tool. I'm going to put it down below it. There we go. Now I've got a heading section, or a header section. They call it a title. I've got a text section, and if I want to put some kind of image, I could also drag and drop an image right here. I have a lot of freedom with how I do it as well. You can see that over here on the right side of that section box, I can choose to put it in line with the title, or I could put it in line with my text down below. Let's try the text down below, and here's what that section ends up looking like. Here might be where I paste some writing, who knows, and right here it's as easy as uploading an image. I'll click that box and I can choose to upload a photo from my computer. So, or I could grab an image web address, a URL from somewhere on the internet, and I could also do it that way. That is the nuts and bolts of what you need in your EBA portfolio. If you need to come back to this video and watch that much again, please do so, because the things that I just now covered, these are the necessities. You can make yours as creative as you want inside of those rules, right? Give it a logical format. Make sure that it considers the viewer who may or may not have navigated to an EBA portfolio page in the past. These kinds of things will make your EBA portfolio flow. Also, before I close this video, I'm going to put these in the comment section so you have some links that you can look at after watching this video. From our masterclass, slide number 2, these are some links that you will be able to have at your disposal. Portfolios for entrepreneurs. If you want to understand some more information about why does an entrepreneur need a portfolio, this is a good short set of slides that will help you understand why in the world you're doing this. What could you possibly get out of having this portfolio down the road if you do it the way that we're telling you? The second part that I'm linking for you here is your EBA portfolio requirements in our Entrepreneurship and Business Academy. That is going to be this document right here. It says EBA Digital Portfolio at the top. There are some basic instructions all the way through. These are the instructions I use in class in Intro to EBA. There are some examples, and there's also some examples of student portfolios that they've given me permission to share their portfolio link with you so that you can see what they've done. Different students do it in different ways, and so depending on the platform that's linked right here, you can choose to look at some examples from other platforms if you choose. However, I can't speak highly enough for Weebly. Weebly is super easy to use, it's reliable, and I'm very familiar with it. So my students, I can give you personal help with it if you need it. Other than that, that is where we are going to end this particular tutorial. So I hope this was helpful to you. And if you need additional help, come into my class. I'll be happy to help anyone that needs help setting up their initial layout or their organization. Come to me during a lunch or shoot me an email when would be a good day to come and visit you, and I'll be happy to help you. All right, good luck.